Alright, so as you can see, I've done some, I guess, some detail work. I definitely increased the number of edge loops, and I created a mustache, and I duplicated the mustache, and made eyebrows out of it. And, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just hide these, because for now I don't need them. And I'm going to show you how I make my hairs. I'm also going to go ahead and hide the head because I don't need it. Okay. Um, okay, so since I don't have a closed mesh here, I mean, you certainly could have just gone ahead and made a closed mesh, and that would eliminate this step, but I'm going to use the Insert Edge Loop tool, and I'm going to make edge loops really close to the edges here. And my reason for doing that is that now when I go to edit mesh, or sorry, mesh smooth, I have this nice line of faces. All you gotta do is select one face and select an adjacent face, double click, and you selected all of the faces along that edge. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I just trust me. Select one face, shift, double click an adjacent face, and you'll get all of the faces in that ring. And then just delete them. And then do the same with this one. Delete. So now I've got, if I unhide my head, I've got a hair object that follows the contours of this guy's bald head. And you don't have to do any more steps to try to make it fit, because it fits, which is really fun and awesome. Okay, so let me go ahead and hide these again. I don't know why I even messed with unhiding them. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to make curves. Hit F2 to get, what am I saying? I think it's F4. Hit F4 to get to the surfaces drop down. And then go to, I didn't even have to do that. Go to Create, EP Curve Tool. And my reason for using EP as opposed to CV is that EP makes curves that follow precisely the points that you create, because it is an edit point curve tool, EP curve. And a CV curve, go to Create, CV curve tool. A CV curve creates lines that are averages of the points that you create. So if you're following along here, you can see that the curve is inside the points, and that's not what we want. We want exact curves. So create EP curve tool, option box, make sure that cubic is selected. Then we're going to just select this guy. And I'm going to create EP curve tool. Oh, sorry. Make sure that wireframe unshaded is selected. Shading, wireframe unshaded. And then now do your EP curve tool. I'm going to start up at the top, hold down V, and make your points along the vertices of these edge loops. This is a time-consuming process, but I assure you that it is easier to do this than it is to use the artisan tools to style your hair. And this also gives you more accurate hair. There's no extra steps. You just model, make your curves, and then we'll do the hair system in a minute. So, okay, so long as you follow the top-down method where you create curves from the top to the bottom, don't go from the bottom to the top, always top to bottom. So long as you do that, you will be fine. I'm going to actually pause the video and finish these curves, because if I did all of the curves it would take way too much time. But hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just making an EP curve, holding down V, and creating the points along the vertices of these edge loops. Cool? Cool. Alright. Alright, so I've created all of my curves here. Some of them were not based off of the mesh. I copied a few to fill in some gaps, and I moved some control vertices to make sure that the beard curves actually lined up properly. And then I duplicated them, and here we are. So now I'm going to make my hair system. You can select all of these curves. Select all of them. And go to F5 hair, and then where is it? Assign hair system, new hair system. And what this does is it assigns these hairs to well, obviously to a new hair system, but it assigns these hairs to a system that has not been placed yet. Now I'm going to select this head here, and I haven't unwrapped it yet, so for the purposes of this tutorial I'm just going to automatic map it. It's no big deal. I'm not planning on texturing it right this second, so it basically just makes it so that it's all unwrapped and I can add these hairs now. Now I'm going to go back to F5 and hair, create hair. Paint effects, 8x8, all of this is fine. Just make sure that you're placing the hairs into hair system shape 1. And then create the hairs. So all of this looks good except these nasty things out here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the window outliner, and I know I've got a lot of ugly things because I haven't cleaned up this project yet, but the things that were added were the hair system, the follicles, the output curves, and the hair. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this follicles group, and oh dear. This is unexpected. This is very unexpected. Well, the curves must be somewhere. Where are the curves? Well, this is not what I expected to happen, but let me just kind of explain to you what I expect. My Santa head is called Polysurface 30, and I expected the follicles that have the name Polysurface 30 follicle to be the follicles that I want to delete, which is the case. I deleted all of those. See that? They start with Polysurface 30, selected all of them, and I deleted them. They were in this follicles group, which means that I could have just deleted the entire follicles group. Now my question is, where did the other follicles go? Oh, it looks like they went into group 1. That's strange. That shouldn't have happened. I'm not certain why it did. Anyway, so long as you understand which ones you were supposed to delete, all is good in the world. So I'm going to select this hair shape, draw as mesh. I want it to draw so that I know what it looks like when it's going to render. Excuse me, I'm stuttering. And now I'm just going to change some of these settings so that it looks a bit better. I'm going to increase the hairs per clump to 25. And I'm going to make the clump width 0.25. Let's see, what's that look like? It looks like it needs to be bigger. Let's make it 0.4. And don't worry about all this just yet. I'm trying to get this to fit. So I'm going to go to this clump width scale and delete this button right here, because I want to know what the maximum width should be. Maximum width should be somewhere around there. How's that looking? Let's make it 0.27. And my reason for doing this is to make sure that we're not going to see any, lines in between the hairs. Okay, so that's fine. I'm going to go back to this clump width scale, and we're going to make it 100% in the middle of the scale. We're going to lower it a bit towards the bottom. So what we're doing is, you should see the bottom of these hairs should start to kind of come in a bit. And I'm going to lower it at the top as well. So that these look a bit more natural. I hope everybody sees what I did there. And now, to cover up these holes in between, I'm going to add another here. And I'm going to increase this to 0.3. Okay. Now I'm going to increase the size of the hairs. Because right now they're rendering very, very thin. Which is good in a way. I'm just going to increase it by a bit. I'm going to make it about 0.0. Hold on, my bad. It's originally 0.01. I'm going to make it 0.015 and just see what that does. That's actually not looking too bad. Then I'm going to make the hair width scale. That's actually looking pretty good. I don't think I'm going to change the hair width scale at all. Let's see. Okay, I don't think I'm going to mess with any more of that. So this is looking pretty good. I hope y'all agree that this looks decent, because this is probably what I'm using for my animation. If there are any gaps, I do want to show you this really quick. Let me check my time. I'm doing okay. I do want to show you this real quick. If I have any gaps and I want to add another curve, oops, then I can go into Create EP Curve, and let me just make a curve along this mesh here and move it out. Where is it? Where's my curve? There it is. Okay. So if I want to add a curve, and this is just an arbitrary curve, random, I don't really care about its shape or anything. If I add it, if I go to Hair, Assign, Hair System Shape 1, suddenly there's hair there. So if there's any place that you want to add hair, like there's a gap in your beard or something somewhere, and you want to add hair, that's how you do it. I'm going to undo all of that because I really didn't want that. Another thing is, let's say I want to make an eyebrow. Let me unhide my I'm gonna unhide one of my mustaches. Okay. If I want to make a mustache, it's going to be really similar. Create EP curve tool. I'm going to actually make it I know you probably can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm doing the same thing I did before without the wireframe because I'm on a time crunch here. Okay, so if I hide that mustache, what I can do is I can go to hair, assign hair system, new hair system, because I don't want this to have all of the rules assigned to it that are assigned to the hair that's already on the face. I'm going to go back to the face, hair, create hair, and make it hair system shape 2. And now I know all of these things pop out again, which we don't want. But that's easy to fix by just deleting the hair system follicles 2, not the whole group, just the polysurface 30 ones. We want to keep that last follicle. I'm going to increase this by quite a bit. And just play with the clump width scale properties. And you can see I can make all kinds of cool shapes. In fact, I can make shapes really similar to the shapes that I wanted without making all of the curves like I did for the head. I really like these tools. They're fun. They're fun to play with. And there you are, I have a mustache. And I could have just, duplicated that curve before I made it, and everything would have been cool. So I'm going to undo all that, because it looks okay, but I'm actually going to do something a little bit different when I make my actual mustache. Okay, let's hide this. What I want to show you before this time runs out on my tutorial is how to make the proper color for this. We're going to go down and just change the color. I'm going to make the hair color 100% white. Maybe gray. Just a little bit darker than white, because I need some specularity as well. That might look decent to you, but when I render this, it's not going to look right. It's going to look kind of yellow. It's got a weird yellow tint to it. And that is because of the specularity. If you look at the specular color down here, I'm in the hair system shape properties. Underneath the hair color, it's got the hair color scale. You can change all that if you want to, but what's most important is this specular color, because it'll totally throw you off if you're not paying attention. I want to completely desaturate that. And I also want to increase its power. So I made it quite a bit whiter. And there you go. I have white hair for Santa Claus. I can make the hair a bit darker, maybe, and maybe increase the specular color. Specular power is not what you expect. The lower the specular power, like I just decreased it from 3 to 1, and I hit tab, and something awful happened. Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay. So I changed it from 3 to 1. I'm going to open an IPR render so that you can see what I'm doing here. By decreasing it, it made the actual specularity bigger. And by that I mean, if I make it 5, well, let me make it even higher than 5. Let me make it 10. You should see the specular area decrease the higher the number is, and the lower the number is, the greater the specular area is. So it all just kind of depends on your artistic feel and what you think it should look like. You should also notice here that I've got some gaps, and I can fix that by either increasing the number of curves that I have, or the number of hairs, or I have a lot of ways that I can fix that. So this was just kind of an introduction to hair. I hope it was helpful for you. Please let me know what you think of my tutorial, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you if you have a specific question. And that's it. Thank you.